Yo, YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a special video for you guys today to sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's finally time. Modern Warfare 3 is officially released, and I cannot wait to play this game. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all the settings that you need to be using on PC for maximum visibility and FPS on Modern Warfare 3. I currently play on 1440p, and this game is looking and feeling phenomenal. So shout out to Call of Duty, shout out to Sledgehammer. You guys nailed this game. You already know we're about to dive deep into this camo grind. So if you guys want to stay connected and follow along on that journey, do not be afraid to subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date on all the videos I'm going to be posting from today moving forward. We got a lot of content coming y'all's way. Without further ado, I'm going to get into these settings so you guys can get your shit figured out, get it set up right, and get into the game. So first things first, we're going to start on the graphics tab. Obviously, I'm playing on dual PC setup. My capture card's a little finicky. I'm playing on full screen borderless. I've got the 3080 Ti, all that stuff set up, ready to go. The display resolution on my PC currently says that I'm playing on 1920 by 1080, but that is a visual bug. I'm actually playing on 1440. Sometimes Elgato products act a little finicky, so just ignore all that stuff. Aspect ratio is going to be 16 by 9. As far as the display gamma, brightness, all that stuff goes, I have this set to 2.2 and my brightness set to 56. Now, you might be wondering, dang, Bree, why is it set to 56 instead of 55? Brightness is personal preference. I feel like it looks a little bit better at 56 instead of 55. So I would recommend 56, but like I said, it's personal preference based on your monitor. If you're playing on a TV, if you're playing on whatever setup you're working on. So as far as the constrained mouse to game window, you're going to have that off so you can use your mouse and tab up and down to other monitors depending on how you have your setup. I know sometimes I like to go and mute myself in Discord or pull up a browser on my gaming PC, so I like to have this setting set to off. NVIDIA Reflex low latency, put that on. Eco mode preset is set to custom with VSync and with both VSync options set to off. You're going to want to set your custom frame rate limit on this game to whatever hertz or frame rate your monitor can provide you. So for my sake, I play on a 145 hertz monitor, so I'm going to take this number down to 145. Menu custom frame rate limit and out of focus custom frame rate limit, drop that down to 60. You don't want to be using your GPU when you don't really need it for menu setting. Just sitting still in the menu, customizing your guns, doing your loadout, all that stuff. So have both of those settings set to 60 and the focus mode to 0. High dynamic range or HDR, have that set to off. You do not need that. So now we're getting into the bread and butter of the quality settings. This is the part where you really want to pay attention to get maximum visibility and maximum FPS. Okay, so listen up. As far as your render resolution goes, you're going to have that set to 100 and turn off dynamic resolution. You do not need dynamic resolution turned on this game. I don't care what anybody says. Upscaling and sharpening, you're going to set that to Fidelity FXCAS. The VRAM scale target set to 80 and variable rate shading set to on. Now, a lot of you are probably going to wonder, why do you not want to have your settings set to ultra and maximum and high and all of that to get the best graphics that you need? Honestly, the game is going to look insane when all of these are set to the lowest of the low. I can only imagine how the game feels and looks whenever everything is set to ultra. I'm assuming if you're playing on 4K and you're not really streaming, you just want to get the maximum amount of visual aesthetic that you want out of the game, you're going to want to have that set to ultra. But for frame rate and performance purposes, here are the settings you need to use. I'm talking a lot. Here we go. Texture resolution set to normal. Texture filter anisotropic set to normal. Depth of field off. Detail quality level low. Particle resolution, this is a very important one, ladies and gentlemen. Turn that to very low. Bullet impacts and persistent effects both need to be turned off. Shader quality needs to be set to low. On-demand texture streaming set to on. And local texture streaming quality set to low. Now, as far as your shadow and lighting goes, if these settings that I'm suggesting for you feel like you're not really digging it, you can go and mess around with these. But like I said, these are my personal recommended settings that I believe you need to be using. Shadow quality, screen space shadows both need to be set to low. Ambient occlusion needs to be set to off. Screen space reflections, normal and static reflection quality low. Basically, all of these shadow and lighting settings do is make your game look a little bit more pristine, a little bit more polished. If you're just grinding camos, grinding multiplayer, trying to get the best frame rate possible, you don't need to have a shadow on the belt of your machine gun, or you don't need to have a shadow showing on the magazine of an AR. A lot of people like to pay attention to that stuff, but for the sake of this video, we're going to keep it short and sweet. For the environment, tessellation needs to be set to off, terrain memory set to max, volumetric quality set to low, deferred physics quality, weather grid volumes, and water quality all set to off. All this is going to do is use your RAM, use your GPU, and you just don't need these settings on. I know a lot of you probably play on 120 FOV. That's what I've got my FOV set to, with the affected ADS field of view and wide weapon field of view. If you haven't changed any of these settings, as soon as you load into a game, your screen's going to feel really weird. So make sure you have affected and wide set on both of those settings in the view tab of graphics. Third person field of view set to 80 and vehicle field of view set to wide. These settings right here are also very important. You're gonna want to turn off world motion blur and weapon motion blur. I cannot stand whenever I watch someone play the game or watch a YouTube video where they have motion blur and weapon motion blur turned on. For some reason, it makes me feel dizzy, makes me feel gross. I can't stand it. If you prefer it, that's all good. But for the sake of the video, like I said, I have both of those turned off. Film grain set to 0. First person camera movement and third person camera movement both need to be set to 50% or the lowest it will go. Spectator camera, you can adjust if you want game perspective, or if you want helmet camera, you can also tab in and out of that in the game. My personal preference, I'm gonna do the game perspective. Sometimes watching from the helmet cam kind of makes me feel a little bit dizzy. Inverted flashbang, this setting is all personal preference for me. Every time I have it inverted, I feel like whenever I get flashed and my screen goes dark, I feel like my game's crashing. So I don't really like to have that turned on, but like I said, if you like that, turn it on, doesn't really matter. So now we're gonna go over to the interface tab. We're gonna be going over the heads up display or the HUD, all the settings that I personally use. I like to have my HUD balance all the way like down and in. I have my minimap shape set to square with minimap rotation on and horizontal compass on, with the crosshair set to static. As far as the telemetry goes, I like to have the essentials on. I know some people like to show more. I like to show my latency, my packet loss, my GPU temp, and my FPS counter, as well as the clock, just so I can look up on my screen and see what time it is instead of having to look at my phone or look at another screen. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps up all the settings that you guys need to be using to get the most out of your PC, get the most FPS and the best visibility in this game. If you guys enjoyed this video and these settings work for you, please do me a favor, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.